Let me tell you something that no one else has the courage to say. You're stuck. Not because you lack resources, not because you lack knowledge, not because the world is against you. You're stuck because you've been lying to yourself for so long that the lie has become your identity. You tell yourself you're going to change, that tomorrow will be different, that this time you really mean it. But tomorrow comes, and you're the same person, making the same excuses, living the same mediocre existence. And deep down in a place you refuse to look, you know the truth. You don't actually want to change. You want the result of change without the pain of transformation. You want the destination without the journey. You want the trophy without the battle. And that's why you're still here reading this, hoping for some magic formula that will make it all easy. But there is no magic. There's only the brutal, uncomfortable truth. And if you can't handle what I'm about to tell you, close this now and go back to your comfortable delusions. But if you're ready, if you're truly ready to break the cycle and shatter the prison you've built around yourself, then keep reading. Because what comes next will either wake you up or destroy the illusion you've been clinging to. Either way, you'll never be the same. Let's start with the foundation of your failure. You think change is about motivation, about inspiration, about finding the right technique or the perfect system. You consume content, you watch videos, you read books, you take notes, and you feel that temporary high of possibility. For a moment you believe you can do it. For a moment you see the person you could become. But then, what happens? You go back to your life and nothing changes. Why? Because you were never serious. You were entertaining the idea of change like it's a movie you're watching, not a war you're fighting. You were spectating your own potential instead of building it. And that's the first brutal truth. Most people don't want to change. They want to fantasize about changing. They want the emotional satisfaction of imagining a better life without the sacrifice required to create it. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself you're going to start working out, eating better, building a business, learning a new skill? How many times have you made that declaration with absolute certainty, only to abandon it within days, sometimes hours? And each time you quit, each time you break, that promise to yourself, something happens that you don't notice. You lose a piece of your self-respect. You chip away at your own credibility. You teach your subconscious mind that your words mean nothing, that your commitments are negotiable, that you are not someone who follows through. And over time, this pattern becomes your identity. You become the person who tries but never finishes, who starts but never commits, who dreams but never acts. And the worst part, you've convinced yourself that this is just who you are. You've labeled yourself as lazy, undisciplined, weak, and you wear that label like a prison uniform. But here's the truth you need to hear. You're not lazy, you're terrified. You're not undisciplined, you're protecting yourself. You're not weak, you're addicted to comfort. And until you see this pattern for what it is, you will never break it. Let's go deeper. Why are you terrified? What are you protecting yourself from? Most people think they fear failure, but that's not the whole truth. What you really fear is the person you'll have to become in order to succeed. Because success requires sacrifice. It requires you to give up the comfort of your current life, the safety of your routines, the validation you get from being the victim. Success requires you to stop blaming your parents, your circumstances, your past, and start taking full responsibility for where you are. And that is terrifying, because if you take responsibility, you can no longer hide behind excuses. If you admit that you have the power to change, then you also have to admit that you've been choosing not to. And that realization is so uncomfortable, so ego-shattering, that most people would rather stay stuck than face it. This is why self-sabotage is so common. You start making progress, you start seeing results, and then suddenly you do something that destroys it all. You binge after a week of clean eating. You skip the gym after a good streak. You procrastinate on the important project. And you tell yourself it's just a mistake, just a slip-up, but it's not. It's your subconscious mind protecting you from the discomfort of becoming someone new. Because change is not just about doing new things, it's about killing the old version of yourself. And that old version will fight for its survival with everything it has. It will whisper doubts, create distractions, manufacture emergencies, anything to keep you where you are. Because where you are is familiar. Where you are is safe. And your brain, above all else, craves safety. But here's what your brain doesn't understand. Safety is not the same as fulfillment. You can be safe and miserable. You can be comfortable and empty. You can spend your entire life avoiding pain and still end up in the deepest pain of all. Regret. Regret for the life you didn't live, the risks you didn't take, the person you never became. And that pain, unlike the temporary discomfort of change, doesn't fade. It grows. It compounds. It becomes the background noise of your existence, a constant reminder that you chose comfort over courage. So let's talk about what real change actually requires. Not the Instagram version, not the motivational speaker fantasy, but the raw, unglamorous, brutal reality. First, you need to stop waiting to feel ready. You will never feel ready. The moment you feel ready is the moment you've already missed the opportunity. Because readiness is not a feeling, it's a decision. It's the decision to act despite the fear, despite the doubt, despite the discomfort. Most people are waiting for some external sign, some perfect alignment of circumstances, some magical moment when everything clicks into place. But that moment never comes. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. Life happens now. And if you're not acting now, you're choosing to stay stuck. Second, you need to accept that change is not linear. You will have good days and bad days. You will make progress and then regress. You will feel motivated and then completely lost. And that's normal, that's part of the process. But most people quit at the first sign of difficulty because they think it means they're failing. They think progress should feel good, should feel exciting, should feel like a constant upward trajectory. But real progress feels like chaos. It feels like confusion. It feels like you're getting worse before you get better. Because you're breaking old patterns, rewiring old habits, dismantling old beliefs. And that process is messy, it's uncomfortable, it's supposed to be. Third, you need to stop seeking external validation. This is the addiction that keeps most people trapped. You make a small change and immediately you want someone to notice, to praise you, to tell you you're doing great. And when that validation doesn't come, or when someone criticizes you, you crumble. Because your motivation was never internal. It was always dependent on how others perceive you. But the only validation that matters is your own. The only person who needs to believe in you is you. And until you build that internal foundation, you will always be at the mercy of other people's opinions, other people's moods, other people's approval. Now let's talk about the breaking point, because every transformation has one. It's the moment when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change. It's the moment when you look in the mirror and you're disgusted by what you see, not just physically, but spiritually. You're disgusted by the excuses, the weakness, the wasted potential. And in that moment, something shifts. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop making deals. You stop looking for shortcuts. You decide with absolute certainty that this is the last time you will be this person. This is the last time you will break a promise to yourself. This is the last time you will choose comfort over growth. But here's the thing about breaking points. They don't last. That intense feeling of determination, that burning desire to change, it fades. It always fades, and when it does, most people go right back to their old patterns. They think the breaking point was supposed to be the solution, but it's not. The breaking point is just the beginning. It's the spark. But a spark without fuel dies, and the fuel is discipline. Not motivation, not inspiration, but cold, hard, relentless discipline. The ability to do what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. The ability to show up when you don't want to push forward when every part of you wants to quit, to keep going when there's no one watching, no one cheering, no one caring. This is where most people fail. They rely on motivation, and motivation is a fickle friend. It shows up when things are easy and disappears when things are hard. But discipline is different. Discipline doesn't care about your feelings. Discipline doesn't care if you're tired, if you're scared, if you're doubting yourself. Discipline is the decision you made when you were strong, enforced when you are weak. It's the system that keeps you moving forward even when the spark has faded. And building discipline is not about willpower, it's about identity. It's about deciding who you are and then acting in accordance with that identity, no matter what. Let me give you an example. If you see yourself as someone who works out, then going to the gym is not a decision you make every day. It's just what you do. It's part of your identity. But if you see yourself as someone who wants to work out, then every day is a negotiation. Every day you have to convince yourself, motivate yourself, push yourself. And eventually you'll lose that negotiation. But when it's part of your identity, when it's part of who you are, there's no negotiation. You just do it. Because that's what people like you do. So the question is, who are you? Not who do you want to be, not who you think you should be, but who are you right now, in this moment? Are you someone who follows through or someone who quits? Are you someone who takes responsibility or someone who blames? Are you someone who does the work or someone who makes excuses? And if the answer to any of those questions is not what you want it to be, then you need to change your identity. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. You need to make a decision about who you are and then start acting like that person immediately. But here's the part that no one tells you. Changing your identity is painful because your current identity, even if it's limiting, even if it's keeping you stuck, is comfortable. It's familiar. You know how to be that person. You know what to expect. But becoming someone new, stepping into a new identity, means stepping into the unknown. It means facing uncertainty, discomfort, fear. It means being a beginner again. It means failing publicly. It means being judged. And most people would rather stay in a familiar prison than risk the unknown. This is why most people never change. Not because they can't, but because they won't. Because they're not willing to pay the price. They want the result, but they're not willing to endure the process. They want the transformation, but they're not willing to kill their old self. And so they stay stuck year after year, decade after decade, living the same life, having the same problems, making the same excuses. And the saddest part is that deep down, they know they could be more. They know they're capable of more, but they've chosen comfort over potential. They've chosen safety over greatness. And that choice, repeated day after day, becomes a life. So here's the question you need to ask yourself. Is this the life you want? Is this the person you want to be? Not in 5 years, not when circumstances change, not when things get easier, but right now, today. Because if the answer is no, then you have two choices. You can keep waiting, keep hoping, keep lying to yourself that someday things will be different. Or you can accept the brutal truth, embrace the discomfort, and start the work of becoming who you're meant to be. Not because it's easy, not because it feels good, but because the alternative, a life of regret, of untapped potential, of quiet desperation, is far worse. Let me tell you what happens when you finally commit. When you stop dabbling and start dedicating. When you stop trying and start being. At first, it's hard. Harder than you imagined. The old patterns resist. The old identity fights back. The old comfort calls to you like a siren song. And you'll be tempted to quit, to go back, to tell yourself it's not worth it. But if you push through that resistance, if you keep showing up even when it feels pointless, something shifts. The new behaviors start to feel less foreign. The new identity starts to feel more natural. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, you become someone different. Not all at once, not in a dramatic transformation, but in small daily increments, one decision at a time, one action at a time, one day at a time. And then one day you'll look back and realize you're not the same person anymore. The person who used to make excuses is gone. The person who used to quit is gone. The person who used to blame is gone. In their place is someone stronger, someone more capable, someone who keeps their word. And that person, the person you've become, is not a gift. It's not luck. It's the result of a choice you made and then enforced over and over in the face of every obstacle, every doubt, every temptation to quit. But here's the final truth, the one that most people never realize. The work never ends. There is no finish line where you can finally relax and stop pushing, because the moment you stop growing, you start dying. The moment you stop challenging yourself, you start regressing. Life is not a destination, it's a practice. And the practice is simple. Become better today than you were yesterday. Not perfect, not flawless, just better. 1% better, one decision better, one action better. And if you can do that consistently, if you can make that your identity, then there is no limit to who you can become. So stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting to feel ready. The moment is now. The person is you. And the only question that matters is, will you finally do what you've always known you needed to do? Or will you go back to sleep, back to comfort, back to the lie? The choice is yours. It's always been yours. And whatever you choose, you'll have to live with. So choose wisely, choose courageously, choose the person you want to become, and then become that person, one brutal, uncomfortable, necessary step at a time. If you made it this far, if every word cut through the noise and hit you where it hurts, then you're ready. You're ready to stop lying, stop hiding, stop pretending, to mark this moment, to seal this commitment. Leave this phrase in the comments: I choose the pain of growth over the pain of regret. Not for me, not for the algorithm, but as a declaration to yourself. A line in the sand that says, from this moment forward, I am different. And if this message awakened something in you, if it gave you the clarity you've been avoiding, then subscribe. Because here, we don't comfort you. We challenge you. We don't give you hope. We give you truth. Welcome to the breaking point. Welcome to yourself.